Hi, welcome. I'm Cosette. I'm going to lead you through a sequence that focuses on hip flexion. Hip flexion is essentially when you are bringing your thighs forward and closing the front of the hip. So you flex your hip when you close this angle and bring your thigh forward. So it's the opposite of hip extension, which is when you're moving your thighs behind you and opening the front of the hip. You'll see how this is involved in plenty of movements and postures. And we'll build up to a little crow pose today if you'd like to try it out. So just start on your back, please. Okay, coming into a half shavasana, so the knees are bent, feet planted, at least hip width apart. Knees could be separated or come together and hold each other up. Okay, resting hands lightly on the lower belly. Eyes open or closed. You're beginning softly or effortlessly. You rest your weight into the mat. Sensing your relationship to the ground, feeling how stable and supportive it is. You breathe through the nose. Creating a steady, even cadence. Before we start moving, you might set an intention for your practice. You let this time on your mat empower you. Use it to learn more about yourself, to better understand your capabilities, so you can make smart decisions. 2 more breaths. If eyes are closed, blink them open and take a full body stretch with arms back, feet forward. You're moving a little here by rolling the wrists and the ankles, clockwise, counterclockwise, all the directions. Try to reach right hand and right foot farther from each other. And do the same with left hand and left foot. Okay, bend knees toward your chest. Hands over the knees or shins to pull thighs closer to you. Explore a rocking side to side. And just gently stir the knees around. And go a few times one way. Circles could be small or widen. A few times the other way, stirring the knees. And interlace fingers over the right shin and extend your left leg forward for easy wind removing pose. You have hands for leverage to pull right knee towards you. So if you remember what hip flexion is, you'll notice that right hip is moving into deeper flexion with the help of hands. Okay, the front of the left hip is open and lengthening as you drive left heel forward. Another breath. Okay, simply release right leg forward next to left. Bend left knee and interlace fingers over the left shin. Wind removing pose, guiding left knee towards you, closing the front of the left hip, flexing it. Drive right heel forward in opposition. Release your left leg forward. Take a pause. Moving into dead bug pose, like tabletop on your back. Bend both knees. Stack the knees pretty much over the hips, bending them about 90 degrees. Arms up to the ceiling with palms facing in. So start here, sensing the natural curves of your spine. Press your lower back towards the mat, to brace the lower belly, lower spine towards the ground. Maintain that action and reach right arm back overhead, hover it off the ground. At the same time, left leg will extend forward. Try to hover that leg too. Take a pause, then return to dead bug to reset. Left arm back, right leg forward. Opposite arm and leg towards opposite walls. A dead bug to reset. Again, right arm back, left leg forward. Do your best to bring lower spine towards the mat. Reset and dead bug. Then left arm back, right leg forward. A pause here, strong center. Dead bug. Okay, do each side one more time. Right arm back, left leg forward. And then place your left palm on the front or top of the right thigh. We're going to push that left palm and right thigh into each other gently. So you're more actively flexing your right hip. Your thigh is trying to get towards you, but your hand pushes it. Return to dead bug. Breathing smoothly. Left arm back, right leg forward. Connect right palm to the top of your left thigh and just push your thigh and palm into each other. They resist each other. Breathing. Front of the left hip strong. Dead bug one more time. And step your feet on the mat, wider than hips. Rest your arms on the ground away from you. Take your knees side to side. And just some windshield wiper legs, right to left. Knees to your chest, wrapping arms around your legs, give yourself a hug. Hands behind thighs, rock forward and back a couple times. Okay, move into a tabletop position, just getting there mindfully. You're on all fours, hips over knees and shoulders over wrists. Spread the fingers apart, base knuckles rooted. Okay, here, let's inhale to cow, tailbone lifts, belly lowers. As you exhale, round your spine into cat. Using the breath, inhale slowly to cow, spine is an extension. And exhaling for cat, bringing your spine into flexion. Continue through cow and cat. Moving as slowly as you can, 1 mile per hour, whatever that means to you. And just create a couple more waves through the spine. Complete every breath. And come to neutral. Okay, we're going to lower the elbows to the mat, so elbows are under the shoulders. And we're going to do some scapular push-ups here. So the shoulder blades, the scapula, are going to essentially move in towards the spine and away from the spine. Okay, so just start with protracting shoulder blades apart by pushing your arms through the mat. You think of shoulder blades wrapping around you. Okay, this is the position you want your shoulder blades in, especially in weight-bearing postures. So now let the shoulder blades retract in towards the spine. Your chest kind of sinks down. Keep the low belly toned. And again, you're going to protract shoulder blades apart, pressing down the arms, engaging stuff through your back and side. And then shoulder blades slowly sink in towards each other. Okay, again, shoulder blades move apart, wrapping around you. And shoulder blades move inward. Once more, you're going to protract shoulder blades apart. Keep them in this position, pushing through arms. Keep the core intact. And step 1 foot back at a time for forearm plank. neck is active. Just look between wrists or thumbs. If you need to lessen load in a forearm plank or any plank, you could always lower knees so they're behind hips. Okay, just holding here. Another breath, strong and patient. If legs are straight, lower the knees gently, then the hips for Sphinx. Untucking toes, continue to push arms down so that shoulders don't shrug. You're in a back bend. Front ribs hug in to lessen pressure on the spine. Another moment here. Now lower the chest and slide your hands back outside the ribs, hands under elbows. Keep tops of your feet heavy and take a low cobra. We're now coming into a small back bend, lifting the chest using spinal muscles. Release the chest down. And again, take a low cobra, arms close to the body. Pausing here. And you could stay in low cobra, keep breathing. Option for high cobra or upward facing dog. Press your hands down. So increasing the back bend, raising the chest. Shoulders still don't shrug here. Thighs could be on the mat or float. Child's pose is next. Okay, so big toes together, pressing hips towards the heels. Take another lengthening inhale, anchoring exhale. Tabletop is next. Okay, from our tabletop, let's protract shoulder blades apart. You should be familiar with that now. Look ahead of fingertips, tuck toes under. Hover the knees 2 inches off your mat. Lower knees down. Okay, keeping arms center awake. Again, knees hover. Hold here, another breath. Then move to downward facing dog, raising the hips. The hips away from hands, push the hands forward. Okay, I usually have to take my feet and hands a little wider. It just depends on your body, tailor the pose to your body. Lengthen through the arms and torso. Okay, here we want to keep shoulder blades kind of wrapping around you. So it might be hard with arms overhead, but just imagine outer armpits wrapping down. So the upper back is broader and much more stable than if the shoulder blades were sinking in. And take another full breath. Ribs hug in. Now rising up on the toes, bend your knees, and take many steps to the front of your mat, feet either together or hip width apart. Halfway lift, reaching chest forward, lengthening the back. Fold, hands and head down. Okay, take another halfway lift, and lengthen the spine, knees could bend. Fold. Then rise up to standing, pushing down your feet. Your belly slightly braced as you come up. Hands at your heart to close. Okay, so we're at the top of the mat, arms at your sides. For your first mountain, for any mountain, stand with some intention, anchoring the corners of your feet by pushing into the mat. You allow strength to rebound and rise up. Just enough effort here to be tall. Take another breath. On your next cycle, circle arms up overhead. Folding forward, hinge at the hips, knees could bend on the way. Half lift, heart forward, long spine. High plank. Plant your hands, step the feet back. Okay, on toes or knees, from this high plank, lean forward and look forward. You could lower halfway or all the way. For a push-up, elbows graze your sides. Upward facing dog or cobra follows. This is your back bend. Then downward facing dog, raising hips. Settle in. Where is pressure in the hands? The entire hand is planted, but put more weight into the base knuckles. On your next breath, come up high on the toes. Bending knees, step or walk to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Folding forward. Come up to standing, pressing through feet, arms reach above you. Close hands at heart. We'll take another sun salute. Okay, arms overhead. Folding forward, take your time down. Halfway lift. High plank, palms planted, feet step back. As one piece, lean forward. Take the push-up if you'd like. You could always use knees for less load. Upward facing dog follows the push-up, meeting in your downward facing dog. So while a pose might have one name, remember there's different versions. Try to explore them all so you know your options. You're prepared for more. On your next breath, come up high on the toes. Bend your knees, step or walk to the top of the mat. Maybe alternate which foot steps first. Halfway lift. Fold. And come up to standing. Rooting legs, arms up to the sky. Hands to heart, closing it up. Okay. Again, arms reach up. Folding forward, we'll hinge at the hips. Halfway lift. A high plank, pause there. Okay, in your high plank, you're going to lower left knee down under left hip, shoulders still over the wrists, like tabletop. Okay, right toes could stay on the mat or raise your right leg, just hip height. We want a long horizontal line from your head to your right heel, level hips, and maybe left arm reaches forward. Feel free to stay on both hands. Okay, avoid dipping in the lower back or belly. Draw the waist up. Okay, from here, we'll take left elbow and right knee towards each other, curl in, flexing right hip. Then expand and reach for opposite walls with control. Again, elbow to knee. You could do a slight cat back. Then expand and reach. One more time, elbow to knee. Lengthen and reach. Just set your left hand down. Okay, tuck your left toes under, and maybe you hover left knee off the mat. Then bring right knee to your nose. Step right foot forward softly. Okay, and then we'll stay on the ball of the left foot for crescent lunge. The arms above the head. Okay, steady gaze forward, steady breath, steady body. Okay. Just mindful of your knees. Here we're going to slowly lower the arms as well as lowering left knee so it hovers off the mat. Then return up to crescent, arms overhead. Again, smoothly lower arms and left knee. Right knee can bend forward. Return to crescent, pushing through feet. One more time, lowering arms and left knee at the same time. Arms up. And from here, simply put more weight into right foot. Step left foot forward next to right, standing tall. Hands to heart center. Okay, arms circle up. Folding forward, hinge at the hips. Halfway lift. High plank, planting palms, step back. Again, pause in plank. softly set right knee down under the right hip. Okay, gaze ahead of fingertips, left toes could stay on the mat or raising left leg, just hip height. Okay, notice if there's any dipping in the low back or belly. Draw the waist up, right arm forward or stay on two hands. Find your balance here first, push into anything touching the mat. And then at your pace, we'll bring right elbow and left knee towards each other. They might pass each other. And expand, open, and reach. Elbow to knee with control. Then open and reach. It's going to be a little wobbly. Elbow to knee one more time. Expand and reach. And just set your right hand down. Tuck right toes under. Option to hover right knee. Strong here. Then left knee to your nose. Step forward. Let's be on the ball of the right foot. Plant the entire left foot. Crescent lunge. Okay, arms above the head. Okay, settle in. Big bend in the left knee, maybe a small one in the right. Okay, moving slow with resistance as if the air is very thick. Lower arms and right knee, floating it off the mat. Return to crescent, arms above the head. Again, we're going to lower arms and right knee. Left knee can bend forward. Just be mindful. Arms up to crescent. And one more time. Go slow, pay attention, lowering arms and right knee. Return to crescent. Load more weight into left foot and simply step right foot forward. Standing tall, hands to heart. Okay, arms by your sides. Okay, so let's take a standing half moon. Just bringing arms above you, interlace fingers, release your index fingers, cross thumbs, gluing palms together. Straighten arms more, grow taller, shoulders can shrug, and bend your upper body to the right. Okay, not falling into it, gradually bending. Okay, opening through your left side here, push through both feet, firm the thighs. Okay, if you feel like you're trying to back bend, keep the tailbone lengthening down slightly. Front ribs in. Okay, it's not about how far you can bend to this side, it's what you can sustain and breathe through. Okay, your left waist can pull you back to center. Upper body lifts and bends now to the left. Try to expand the side, increase lung capacity. Another cycle. Your right waist can pull you to center. Arms still long and strong. Try a back bend now. Weight to heels more. Hips forward gently. Can you distribute the back bend throughout the spine so you're not falling into the low back? Lift behind the spine. Arms could be by ears, maybe hands to low back. Neck is smooth. One more breath. Okay, front abs can pull you up to center. Fold forward. Okay, just leading with the chest. Knees could bend right away. An extra breath here. Okay, take a halfway lift. Heart reaching forward. Fold again. Then try chair pose. Bend knees, hips back, arms up. Okay, shoulders can actually shrug upwards a bit with the arms as they frame your ears. Okay, sit a little deeper. Heavy heels. Okay, for this next chair or version of chair, we're going to sweep the arms back, chest forward more. You might hear this be called perch pose. Chest forward, arms back. Maybe you could sit deeper. Now put more weight into your right foot. Lift left heel, maybe the whole left foot off the mat. Okay, then to flex left hip more strongly, try to pull your left knee towards your chest more and come up to stork. Driving right foot down, arms up. Keep trying to pull your left knee towards you. Okay, squeezing the front of the left hip, activating the hip flexor. And without leaning back too much, extend left leg forward. Okay, now getting the front of the left thigh involved. Rebend your left knee. Then step left foot back to crescent, high lunge. Okay, see where you land, feel where you land, make any necessary adjustments. Okay, now our left hip is an extension. Okay, reach higher past fingertips, cactus the arms. Okay, you could lift the heart, lift behind the spine for a back bend. Arms up, hands to the mat. High plank. On toes or knees, lean forward and lower yourself all the way down as one piece. Untuck toes. The pointing toes, arms back with palms facing up. And we're going to lift everything for locust. Breathing here. Okay, now point fingertips down and palms back. Bend your elbows and place hands outside the ribs, tops of your feet to the ground. Stay or go to upward facing dog. Then downward facing dog. And completing another full inhale, slow exhale. On your next breath, come up high on the toes. Bend knees, step or walk forward. Halfway lift. Then fold. Go right into chair, knees bending. Hips are back, arms are high by the ears. Do your best to knit front ribs in. Okay, just to close the core, not flare open the abs. A little curve in the low spine is normal. Okay, for perch, arms go back, chest still reaching forward. With arms back, you might be able to hinge more at the hips and sit lower. Okay, put more weight into left foot. Okay, raising right heel, maybe the entire right foot off the mat. Okay, stay where you are and just try to pull your right knee higher to your chest. Keep pulling right knee up and rise to stork, pushing left foot down. Yes, arms to the ceiling. Keep trying to pull right knee higher, maybe above your hip, flexing the hip actively. Then extend right leg forward, still tall in the body, still breathing through the nose. Rebend right knee, crescent lunge, transitioning back, stepping back smoothly. Catch your landing, adjust if you need to, and just be here. Okay, without changing your lower body, reach past fingertips and cactus the arms. Okay, another full breath. Arms up, hands to the mat, high plank. Okay, like earlier, we'll lower all the way down, chest and hips evenly descending. Untuck toes, arms back with palms facing up. One more locust. Without pushing too hard, everything lifts. Strong back body. Point fingers down, palms back. Wrists are in extension. Bend elbows to place hands outside ribs, tops of feet to the ground. Stay or go to upward facing dog. Meeting in downward facing dog. Another full breath here. Okay, just lower the knees for child's pose. The knees down, big toes can meet, hips towards heels. Arms might be forward, or more traditionally, resting arms back. You could always make a pillow for the head, stacking hands in front of you, maybe use a block or towel. There's nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Be here with breath. Just using this pause to reset and somewhat recharge, reassess things. Okay, when you're ready to move on, return to downward facing dog. Hands are pushing forward, encouraging some load and weight back. Okay, with upper body steady, send right leg back for a three-legged dog. Right knee towards your nose and step forward. Okay, we'll spin left heel down. You could line up heels for warrior two. Arms about shoulder level. Shoulders shouldn't need to work too much. Okay, ease them away from the ears. Okay, so it's possible to use effort without straining too much. Okay, try to squeeze outer hip muscles. And it's fine if your pelvis needs to naturally turn a little towards the right thigh. Keeping hips low, reach forward. For extended side angle, just take right arm maybe on right thigh lightly. Left arm could be up or overhead. And creating a line of energy through your left leg, torso, and neck. The neck is part of the spine. Here we're going to reach right hand across the belly to the left waist to avoid resting in that right arm. Use the hand for feedback, sensing strength beneath it, sensing breath. One more cycle. Warrior two. Okay, lengthen right leg, thighs firm. Flip right palm and reverse your triangle. Right arm to the ceiling. And very little weight in the left hand. Warrior two. A cartwheel, hands to the mat. Listen up. Frame your hands, your right foot with your hands. Spin left heel up. Okay, we're going to try to plant the palms here. Okay, and then hugging right knee towards your chest. Can you lift right foot off the mat? You could just bend right knee, right heel to right hip. Three-legged dog. Send right leg back and up again. Downward facing dog. Both feet on the mat. Okay, upper body steady. Left leg. Now back and up. Left knee to your nose. Can you quietly step through? Plant the entire left foot, spin right heel down so right foot is planted too. Warrior two. You rise when you're ready. You can widen your base. You reach past fingertips. Hips low, outer hips strong, kind of squeezing through those muscles. Okay, with hips beneath you, reach upper body forward. Maintaining length in the waist. Choose your arms for now. Maybe left arm to thigh. Little load in it. Right arm up or overhead. And then just to check your strength here, especially through your midsection. Reach left hand across the belly to the right waist. Not resting in that left arm. Spiraling the chest upwards. Keep the power in your lower body. One more breath. Warrior two. Lengthen left leg, thighs firm. Flip left palm, reverse triangle, reaching to the sky. Left hand up, right hand weightless on right leg. Warrior two. Hand windmill down. You're going to spin right heel up. Okay, try to plant your palms, okay, on the mat. Okay, think of pulling left knee towards your chest, left thigh towards your chest, and lift left foot. Just bend left knee, left heel to left hip. Okay, then three-legged dog. Kick back left foot. Downward facing dog. Both feet on the mat. Okay, another breath here. Okay, now crawl your hands back to your feet. Okay, we're going to come into a deep squat. So you can take the feet pretty wide, you have hands down for support. Okay, slowly bending knees, lower the hips. Okay, so naturally feet need to turn out a bit. So 11 and 1 o'clock, maybe 10 and 2. Okay, do your best to keep knees and toes on the same track at the same angle. Okay, you could always keep hips higher, that's fine. Okay, but hips might be low between the legs. Hands could go to heart center. Okay, here, let's try to engage more to avoid resting or sinking into the joints. Push down your feet, raise your hips a centimeter. Try to pull the knees back. Try to lift the heart, engaging the spine. And if you need more challenge, arms could go up. Okay, you could stay in deep squat, great thing to practice. Or try crow pose. So hands go down. You could lift your hips here about halfway or higher. And heel toe the feet together or hip width apart. Okay, we're going to need that hip flexion, squeezing of the front hips here. Okay, plant hands ahead of you so you have room to lean forward. Hands about shoulder width apart. Okay, I like to lift the heels and try to bring the knees as high up by the armpits as I can. You might just work on leaning forward, kind of rocking into hands, seeing what that feels like. Okay, you might be able to lean forward with more weight in the hands and lift one foot, maybe the other foot. Okay, knees high up, squeezing front hips, breathing. Okay, just practice that as many times as you'd like, as long as you'd like. Good, and when you're ready, you're going to lower the feet. Okay, just come to kneeling. Simply sit tall. Okay. A moment here to rest, weight off the hands. Consciously breathing through the nose. Okay. All right. So from here, we'll stretch the wrists and forearms a little bit. If you need to stand on your knees or sit cross-legged instead, those are alternatives. Reach the arms wide, palms face down, make jazz hands. The fingers are straight, out with energy. Okay, now point fingers up, palms out. So you're extending wrists. Try to pull your fingertips back towards you to add intensity. And then have the palms face the floor, make two fists, and we'll flex the wrist, curling knuckles down and in, knuckles down and in towards each other. Okay, open the hands, rest your arms, rest the shoulders, kind of shake things out. Okay, let's come into a tabletop position. After kneeling for a while, you might lift your feet and roll the ankles around. And then go to plank. Okay, plank on knees or toes. Okay, if legs are straight, firm the thighs. Push through hands. Lean forward with the chest and lower yourself all the way down to your stomach. Untucking toes. Stack hands or fists in front of you. Okay, just resting your head or chin down. My head will be lifted so you can hear me. And we'll counter all of that strong hip flexion with hip extension. So we're basically going to open the front of the hips by strengthening the backs of the thighs. So bend your right knee. You could flex or point the right foot. Squeeze an imaginary tennis ball between your right calf and thigh. You're already activating the hamstring by squeezing the tennis ball. Keeping the front of your hips on the mat, can you lift right knee off the ground, right thigh off the ground? Extending the hip by moving your thigh behind you. Lower the right knee, keep squeezing the tennis ball though. And again, lift your right knee. This is your hip extension. Lower the knee down. One more time, lifting your knee. Pause here and breathe. Squeeze the tennis ball, a little shaking of strength. Then release. Right foot back, pausing here. Okay, if your hamstring isn't used to engaging in that way, it could cramp up, and that's natural. Okay. Don't be scared of cramps. Okay, your muscle will adapt with time. Okay, left knee bends now. Flex or point the left foot. Squeeze the tennis ball now between your left calf and hamstring. Without letting the ball go, squeezing it, lift your left knee. It's not a very big movement, more subtle. Lower the knee down. You just focus on lifting that height. Try to lift your knee off the mat. Breathing the whole time. Lower your knee. And once more, lifting your knee, squeezing the ball, breathing. One more cycle of breath here. Release the left foot back, resting. Soften thighs and hips, belly relaxed. Bend both knees and take your feet side to side like windshield wipers. Go to each side once more, hips swiveling. And send your feet back, hands by the ribs, child's pose. Hands by the knees, lift your head and chest. And come to sitting on your mat, legs forward. And you want to scoot forward if you're near the back of the mat. And then just lower onto your back, lying down. Okay, once you're reclined, set up for bridge pose. Another posture to open the front hips. Feet about hip width, arms by your sides. Pressing feet down. Raise the pelvis. Try to lead with the front of the hips, sending them up to the ceiling, okay, rather than just puffing the chest up. Squeeze glutes a little. Try to lift hips another millimeter. One more breath. Okay, lower hips down smoothly. You take a moment, relaxing glutes, and hug knees to your chest, giving legs a squeeze, flexing hips. Step left foot on the mat, and cross right ankle over left knee. You want to keep your right ankle in dorsiflexion, so you're moving right foot towards the shin. The whole time, stabilizing your knee better. Okay, you could stay here. To increase the stretch, simply lifting left foot off the ground will move the right thigh towards you, and that could be enough. Maybe you interlace fingers behind left thigh and pull left thigh towards you gradually. Two more breaths. Okay, lower left foot down. And just cross right thigh over the left thigh. So we're still on the right side, just setting up for a twist. Arms could be wide away from you. Okay, knees slowly fall to the left. Maybe your head turns right. Easy breath. Firm abdominals to untwist. Uncross your legs. And then set up for reclined pigeon with left ankle over right knee. Left ankle dorsiflexed here, foot towards the shin. You could stay here. Maybe you lift right foot off the ground. Okay, to move the legs towards you, which will increase the stretch on the outer left hip. Okay, if you want to add a hand grip here, you could interlace fingers behind right thigh. So you have the hands to help you pull. Just be smart, mindful with how far you go. Another breath or two. Your right foot softly to the mat. And just cross the left thigh over right thigh. Knees could cross, arms away from you comfortably. Knees gently fall to the right. Option to look left. Bracing the belly to untwist, uncross your legs. Okay, take happy baby. Knees wider than the torso, as wide as you can get them. Maybe you could reach outer feet or ankles or shins. Okay, some things you could try here are some movement side to side, trying to press the lower back down. Perhaps you lengthen your legs one at a time or simultaneously. Stay intuitive. Stillness is also welcome. Okay, from here, take a full body stretch. Arms back, feet forward. And then choose your final resting pose. Maybe it's a traditional Shavasana, arms down. Start to relax the body, reposition if you need to. Maybe you like to sit up tall or take legs up the wall. You scan the body, trying to release more and more effort. Rest the forehead, relax around the eyes, and keeping the jaw slack. What else can soften? You try to give yourself at least a couple more minutes to rebalance the body and mind, to reset things, enjoy doing nothing. There's nowhere else you need to be. Thank you for following along today. Hope the front hips feel stronger. I hope that it benefits your daily movement. And until next time, with gratitude, namaste.